Welcome to NRG This Week. I am Oren Stewart, standing in for Mr. Leon Thomas, joining Mr. Mike Weiner. We have a great episode in store for you. We have Rocky joining us. Stay tuned. You do not want to miss it. Good morning and welcome to NRG This Week. Mike, how are you this morning?
I am doing absolutely awesome. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. So glad to be able to join you this morning and have a great show in store for the audience. But I tell you, we were talking a little bit before we came on air about graduation and you still having it. Tell us a little bit, man, about what you were talking about, so that the listeners can know actually who it is they have as their leader of NRG.
Yeah, you know what? I appreciate you being here. I had my youngest son Lance. He had graduation Virginia Tech, and we went down Thursday. It was a long drive down there. Had a lot of fun. Met him for I don't usually do Mexican, but it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And we hung out, did a lot of things. Friday, Saturday they were calling for rain. It never rained. I was telling everybody that it's not going to rain. They're like, "There's 100% chance." I'm like, "Don't worry about it." I use my law of attraction, and I willed the rain away. And it was supposed to rain Sunday when we came back. It never rained at all.
Oh wow.
So my son Lance, he graduated Virginia Tech. It was exciting, and he wanted everybody to go to a bar afterwards. So I'm 58 years old, haven't done the bar scene in a while,
Yeah.
and a girlfriend and I were sitting there chatting, and one woman's like, "Can I sit next to you?" There was some chairs outside. I tell you what, we walked through the indoor, man. It was like 200 people there. It was hot. It
Wow.
was smelly. It was beer smell everywhere. And man, it was a flashback to Towson State when I went to college, 82 to 86. So, one woman starts talking with me. We talk a little bit, wound up talking football, which is usual with me, or baseball. Another woman comes down. She starts talking. She's all upset about Lamar Jackson. I'm like, Lamar wasn't ever going to get traded. He used his leverage to get the 260 million.
Indeed.
She kind of chilled out and talking to my son a little bit later, and he's like, "Dad, I see you talking to the women." I'm like, "Lance, your dad can still bring it. He's 58. I'd be dead if I couldn't talk to the ladies." And
Hey.
it just was like a flashback to me, and a little different from 1986 to 2023, but I had a great time. And I said last week, for all the parents out there, you have an amazing responsibility, and congrats to all of you. I know you had, I think, a daughter that graduated.
And my oldest daughter, yes.
Parenting is the most challenging and fulfilling job that there is. And
Yes.
we sign up for that when we have kids.
So true.
And every parent, I'm going to applaud out there. Don't say you did a bad job, good job, whatever. You got them through. You got them through elementary, through high school, college, and it's a in the Jewish vernacular, it's a mitzvah, and that's
Okay.
a good deed that's done. So I applaud all the parents out there, and we just had a great time. And I was tired. I'm still tired, but you know me, I'm here on Zoom. I got my new Zoom shirt, and I'm ready to rock and roll, baby.
Yes, indeed. I know you are, man. So congratulations to Lance, your son, as well as my daughter. I tell you, all of the graduates that graduated this year, we look forward to them doing great things in the future. I'll tell you something in regards to NRG and it being about networking and getting themselves out there. This is something that they want to be a part of. So I'll tell you something. Tell us about what tonight has in store with the NRG experience.
We started a event called the NRG Experience for new people, and it's every Wednesday night. It's 7 o'clock Eastern. It's on my Zoom, and you can reach out to me either through the website or my cell number, which we'll post here in a little bit. But it's a great event. You get to meet Julie, my virtual assistant, Michelle, my amazing vice president out of Texas, and just some of the great leaders that are in NRG. And we are growing leaps and bounds. We're having new people join every week. One of the gentlemen today is very much in the B2B, and we've had like 7 or 8 B2B people join in the last week or two, and we are just thriving. We're really focused on US and Canada right now. And if you are brand new to networking, if you're just out of college, maybe you just started a sales job selling copiers or payroll, this is a place you need to be. It's a warm, inviting atmosphere. We had a guy I met on LinkedIn yesterday at 2 o'clock. I invited him to the LA group at 4. He had a lot of questions, a lot of questions. By the end, he's like, I like the culture. I like that you're focused. I like that he gave me 3 referrals with 20 more to go. And he joined. And I wound up doing his 23 referrals last night
Wow.
on top of someone else that joined the day before. So I'm not afraid to work. If you are open minded and you want to see a new system, a way to generate referrals, hey, if you want to go cold call, go knock yourself out. I did it
Yeah.
for years selling copiers. I did 50,000 cold calls. And that was my motivation to start NRG, so you wouldn't have to do that. You could eliminate or reduce cold calling altogether.
Hmm.
And that's what we do every Wednesday night, 7
Wow.
p.m. Eastern. Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing, man. I'll tell you something. Let's just go right on into what's happening on Friday, and then we can bring Rocky on. So you said we have a special series with NRG this Friday coming up. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? And you would pay thousands of dollars for all these different speakers over the years. Someone just brought that up to me. Being part of NRG, you're going to get to see on Friday. We got a local guy here in Maryland named Roddy, and he is amazing. He is going to be speaking about how to take your current company and generate more revenue from it. Who doesn't want to do that? And that's going to go from 12 noon to 12:45. And Roddy is a good friend of mine. He's been involved with NRG for years. He's one of those very charismatic, down to earth guys. He doesn't talk over you, he talks with you, and he empowers you. And that's a lot of what NRG is, empowering people. And, definitely jump on the speaker series. I will be speaking in October about creating massive momentum. We've got great speakers, Steve Black, who's internationally well renowned. I think he's in September, and we got someone every month. So come on, join NRG, jump on the bandwagon. You will not make a mistake jumping on, and you're just losing time if you don't. You're leaving money on the table, and I can't be any more bold than that here Wednesday, May 17th, 2022 on NRG This Week.
I love it. I love it, man. So without further ado, let's bring on Rocky right now. This has been awesome already this morning. Rocky, good morning to you.
Hello, everyone.
How are you? Pleasure meeting you.
Good. I'm good. A little
That's
early for me, I got to be honest, but I'm happy to be here. So,
You and I both. I tell you, I'm on Central Standard Time, so it's early here as well. But we are excited to have you on and for you to tell us a little bit about yourself, and then I'll step away and let you and Mike talk.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, a little bit about me is I own a post-click marketing agency, and basically what I mean by that is I handle everything after the click, after you have audience, after you're running traffic, and actually making sure when you're running traffic, you're actually getting the back end what you need to from your traffic. So we're actually converting all these leads into high-paying customers at the highest rate in the most automated way in the simplest way possible that works today. So.
Wow. That is awesome. I'll tell you, Mike. So I'm going to back away so the two of you all can talk because I know Rocky has so much more to share and you have great questions to ask for him. So have a great show, you two.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. So, Rocky, I'm excited to have you here. You literally just joined about 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. You came through Jeff Klein, who is a real good friend of mine. He's been with me for 3 years now. And you know what? And I haven't said this to you. What I got about you at your very first meeting, you were engaged. You were very focused. I know Michelle Wilson, my VP, was there. And, you're definitely one of my younger members. And I love that. We've got folks all the way from 18 years old with Sam in Canada. I know you're 23, and you just bring a lot of credibility to the table. And not to mention, I love the name Rocky, Rocky Balboa, the movies. They've always been my favorite movies. So I knew we were going to get along. I knew we were going to be instant friends. And, there's a lot of things you do. I would say I've got 3 questions for you. Take 2 or 3 minutes. What is it that you do that benefits businesses? Because there's a lot that you do. I've been promoting you through three-way text, and you've obviously got your act together. I love your hyper focus because I'm similar to that, and I recognize that in you. But in 2 or 3 minutes, what are maybe 2 or 3 benefits that clients will get from working with you with your funnel system?
Sure. So I think the first benefit really is that it's a customized plan depending on who you are. So I really take a look at where you're at and where you want to be and what your goals are, your budgets, your vision, your struggles at the current moment. And then I create a custom plan based on what that is. So the first thing I say is that it's not just a plug and play. Oh, I give everyone the same system. No, it really depends on where you are. I'm not going to, pitch you something that I just pitch everyone else. I'm pitching you what I feel like you need. at the time in order to grow. And I think one of the second things I do is, as we do this, I make sure that you're never lost. So a lot of people, the one thing I do that I say that it makes me stand out maybe from other web designers and funnel, designers that you might meet, is that I really focus on the end-to-end process of your business. And what I mean by that is, everything I do, maybe when I'm creating your sales funnel and the automations and everything, I have your entire end to end in mind, as far as like where they started, where your traffic's coming from, to how you're going to get them as a customer, and making sure that my funnel, my systems fit perfectly into that. So you're actually getting the results you want from it. I'm very results based. So that's exactly
No,
what I
I
do.
love it. I love it. I love it. So what I'm hearing from you, I just jotted two things down. Customization. You don't just put a widget for everybody. You listen to them, you figure out what they need, and then you customize it specific to their needs. And the other thing that I love about you is you track it. If you got to alter things, maybe alter, but you're there for the whole process. You don't just implement a system and let it go. So I love that about you. That's great. Second question: what is it when you land a client and you see how happy they are and how satisfied and that their business is taking off? What kind of satisfaction does that give for you? I'm big with law of attraction and helping people, and I think it's important. This show, Rocky, will be on our website. It'll be out there for years. Maybe it'll go in a space log to the future, whatever. We don't know, but we're gonna have it on Facebook and LinkedIn. So us speaking today, they're gonna be looking at this in 5 years, 10 years, 100 years. But what is it for Rocky that really gets you fired up and pumped when you can help a client accomplish their goals or maybe even exceed their goals?
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people come to me, and that one of the first things that I notice is that they're thinking so small, when I can already see, based on what they tell me, how big their potential could be. So whenever I can let someone, or let them achieve their goals, or even expand their mind to what the possibilities are today with what we can do with this, it's so gratifying and satisfying. And honestly, why I do this, both of the businesses I run, I haven't even talked about this, but my other business is real estate, and I house homeless LGBTQ youth. So it's the same thing. I love helping others. So that is really the core of what I do. And this is why I do it, is because I get to help others achieve their goals. When I scaled one of my clients from, 10K to 50K months in 16 weeks, like that was like more gratifying than anything else, so.
That's awesome. That's all. You know what? And if you're watching this, and Rocky, I haven't shared with you totally my background. I've done copiers, I've done payroll, I've done restoration with Serpro. I've worked with different sales organizations. If you are watching this and you're a new business owner and you want your business to take off, get a hold of Rocky. If you've been around for a while, maybe you're in sales and your income has not gone up, get a hold of Rocky. Rocky is a visionary, and that's a really important word today. And Rocky, a lot of people just think too small. They've never done X amount of dollars or whatever. And there's studies that if someone has made 80,000 and they're at 60,000 after 3 months, they will actually self-destruct and get not do that well, so that at the end of the year they make 80 when they were on target to make $250,000. There's studies about that, and you know, you want to get ahead of the game. You want to grow. Things are nothing's going down in price. We know that gas, milk, everything. So, third final question, then we'll bring Orwin back. What is it? People are watching this. Maybe they've never seen NRG, or maybe they've been in NRG before when we were meeting live. You came to me through a three-way warm text introduction from Jeff Klein, who actually teaches NRG pinball, which is one of our systems. But what was it about NRG? You came to the meeting, and I could tell, man, I just could tell you were hyper focused and analyzing and evaluating. And right after the meeting, I asked my normal three questions, and somewhere between question two and three, you were like, "This just makes sense. I'm in." What was it? And I'm going to go to that meeting. What was it in those 60 minutes? I haven't asked it like this before. That you were like, all right, I'm checking this out. Is Mike Weiner real? Is NRG real? Is it just another fly by night networking group? What was it for Rocky that made the difference? And if it's two things, that's fine. If it's one thing, if it was my my Zoom shirt. You can tell them that too. But what was it for Rocky in those 60 minutes? That so many people never even get to the meeting. What was it for you that you're like, I gotta jump on the team. I want to work with Mike. I want to work with all these professionals that you knew you wanted to become part of NRG.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's a very good question. I think well, one thing I want to say right off the bat is when Jeff invited me to the meeting, I really had no idea that it was even like a paid thing. So I want to say that I
Mm-hmm.
was not prepared, and I just, at the beginning of the meeting, I was like, "Oh, okay, this is like serious." I got that, and I was like, "Okay, now I'm analyzing and assessing like the value, right?" And I only have this whole meeting to do that, so that's why I was super hyper focused on figuring out like if this is something I really wanted. Because of course, if something's paid, you know there's people immediately perceive more value with it, but I was like, does it actually have the value that it's worth? And really, I got very quickly that the culture, the environment, everyone was there, was serious about networking, serious about giving actual referrals, and serious about actually helping you instead of just me, 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 me. So it was a very giving, like give back system, and I could just tell there was a lot of A players in the room, and I knew that I wanted to be a part of it. So yeah, it's pretty
I
easy to tell.
appreciate that. Yeah, no, I love how you answer the question, and it's we try to have a very warm, inviting atmosphere with genuine people, and I knew you were genuine the moment I met you, and I'm really excited to have you aboard. I want to get you on the circuit, visiting groups. We got groups out there. I'm running about 35 a week, so when I took off last week, the hardest part's getting other people to run them, but we were able to do that pretty quickly. So I'm going to bring Orwin back in. It's been great having you here, Rocky. And I encourage people, you know what, Rocky's the real deal, man. I mean, Rocky Balboa was a boxer and he was a fictional boxer. This Rocky is real. And I'm fortunate I get to see him in LA. And by the way, LA is blowing up. We've had 4 new people in 4 weeks. Arguably, it's my hottest group. I mean, or it's I don't know how I rotate around through all of them. It rotates. Some groups are hot, some are kind of keeping their way, and some need a lot of help. I mean, I need to
Yeah.
give them some TLC, but I think Rocky's coming to a really good group. We just added another guy, and I'm doing some things on LinkedIn now that are helping out. But I'm going to turn it back over to you, and just been a blast having Rocky's only been with me a couple weeks, and that's the respect I have for him
Yeah.
because I reached out to him. I said, "Man, we got to have you on the show."
Yeah.
And I appreciate you getting up early. And I always say when you're with me, you don't need coffee. I will wake you up quickly. So, Oren, I will turn it back over to you.
Yes, indeed. Well, I'll tell you something. It's been a pleasure listening to the two of you. You actually, Mike, asked the question that I wanted to ask Rocky is what brought him to NRG, but you spoke about it, the culture, everybody is on their A game and wants to make sure that they help to get the word out for what it is that you all have here at NRG and what it is that each individual brings to the table. So, Rocky, tell us real quick before we let you go, what has inspired you to bring you to where you are today, to just be the person you are, to meet the needs of many? When we talked about, Mike spoke about the customization, right? Making up a word to say, you like to customize the service that you provide. Where did that come from? I just wanted to ask you that question.
Just kind of my inspiration behind all of it.
Yes.
Yeah, really, I used to be a cyber software engineer. I graduated in computer science engineering, and I was on track. I landed my dream job at the time, and but I had doubts before I even officially signed on and accepted the job. But I was like, okay, I got to give it a shot. And what I found out very quickly is why I was like, why can't I push myself? Like, why am I just kind of like here? What's going on? Why can't I do like the next level was what I used to be able to do. And really the answer to any time I feel like why like a month later I still go back to something that I thought I was needed to do and I wanted to do and I don't do it is because I don't really care about it. I'm not passionate about it. So everything I do now is something I truly care about and I have a lot of passion behind. And I have a lot of passion behind helping other people grow their business and reach their true potential. And I have a lot of passion behind just helping people in general. And that drives everything I do every single day. I've met with so many people, even at NRG. They're like, wow, I really admire, your energy. You're doing so much. Oh my gosh. I didn't have the energy to do that, when I was your age. And I was like, really, there's no like super secret. The secret is that what I do just like truly inspires me and pushes me to keep doing it every single day, because I have a true passion and goal behind everything I do, and I'm very purposeful about it. So that's kind of how I'm able to get up every morning and still do it, because those are the things I truly want in life and where I truly want to go, because I've created my own path through my entrepreneurship. So
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, I know we've been displaying it while you've been talking, but tell us about where people can find you.
yeah, for sure. If you go to my website, luxuryfunnels.com, it's pretty simple site. You'll read more about maybe what I do, and then there's a call to action to book a call with me. If you're interested, just book a call and we can talk more.
Sounds good. Well, I'll tell you something. We really appreciate you joining us. Mike, I know you want to talk football before we leave because I know you and Leon love to talk about that. So I have to ask this last question. First, before I ask you that question, Reiki, thank you so much for joining us today. You know, your passion, your inspiration, what it is that motivates you to do what you do. I'll tell you, man, I know it's going to take you far. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Really
All right.
appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, Mike, tell us before we leave a little bit about how you feel about Lamar Jackson now having signed. And I know you all probably talked about it because we're a few weeks where the ink has dried. But before we close, tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that.
Rocky just used the word passion. And, Tony Robbins talks about that. Anything you do in life, you got to have passion. And it's very obvious Lamar Jackson, when he is on the field,
Hmm.
he's the most electrifying player ever.
Yeah.
So, when I was talking with those women in the bar, I was talking about that at the beginning.
Hmm.
One of them was really mad. She's like, he wanted to get traded. And I'm like, no, 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 no. He was using that. It was ingenious what he did.
Yeah.
He used that as leverage. And, Leah and I have even some different opinions on this, but in my opinion, Lamar used that as leverage. I didn't quite get it when he did, but now looking back, he represented he represented himself very well.
Yeah.
And in the end all, nobody offered him any kind of contract, but because of Jalen Hurts signing with the Eagles,
Hmm.
that was the blueprint for Lamar. Lamar got a couple million more. So, as a Ravens fan, Lamar got drafted, I think it was 2018,
Hmm.
and he told the Baltimore fans, I will bring you a Super Bowl.
He sure did.
So what I was when he was negotiating, and we weren't sure if he was going to stay, but I knew he was going to stay in my heart.
Hmm.
Um, he's a once in a generation player. I was watching Ray Lewis on the NFL Network. They did a special on Ray. Did that guy have passion or what? I mean,
Yeah.
you could
Yeah.
hear the thud, the way he motivated everybody. And, that's why I like the Rocky Balboa movies. I'm into passion. I'm into get people pumped up, have a cause. And I honestly believe with the new, they've got some new fitness coaches there. The
Hmm.
Ravens definitely had issues. It was very odd when your whole running back team, goes out with injuries and then several other players. And they've got a new offensive coach. And I definitely want to be on with Jasmine. I'm excited to talk some football.
Yeah.
But I really believe Lamar will use no team offered him money.
Hmm.
He's going to
Hmm.
remember that, and he's going to go, I mean, we're on a show, so maybe screw you or,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
something to that effect, but I'm going to make you
Yeah.
pay for that. And he really has not realized his full potential.
Yeah. True.
He's been hurt the last 2 years. We've got, and he was hurt in the pocket.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was running. It wasn't like, everybody's like, well, he's like Michael Vick or Randall Cunningham, or, he was hurt in the pocket being sacked. So, moral of the story, make sure the offensive line
Yeah.
protects the guy. You got to
So
protect
true.
that $250 million investment. But I
Yeah.
believe Lamar will take them to the promised land next year. And I do believe Lamar will win the Super Bowl in 2024, the same year that Mike Weiner turns 60 years old.
I hear you.
And my dad's been gone since '99. I know he's up in heaven with my grandma. They're watching NRG. They're watching football. They're watching the Orioles have been second hottest team in baseball.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do believe Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. And God only knows in 5 years after he wins, I think he's going to win two Super Bowls. I think he's going to tie Mahomes, and then they're going to have to negotiate again. I just want to go to an island for a week and not listen to it.
Yeah.
But I really believe Lamar's that they got the answer for him, and it's going to be an amazing season. But in the meantime, can we just focus on baseball?
Focus on
Orioles are
baseball.
doing great.
They did great. I'll
Orioles
tell
are
you.
doing great. If you have not watched Orioles baseball, and I have not been out to the park,
Hmm.
there's a catcher, Adley Rushman.
Hmm.
Have you heard of him? He's going to
Hmm.
be he's going to be the best catcher
He
ever. And
dynamite. Yeah.
all respect to Johnny Bench, but this guy Adley is he's amazing. I saw Gunnar Henderson at Bowie Bay Sox last year, and I was like,
Mhm.
they got to get him up to the Orioles. So I'm excited to go to some Bowie games to see who's the next one. But Adley's going to take this team. I don't know that they're going to win the World Series this year,
Yeah.
but they're in second place, the second best team, and your New York Yankees are in the basement. That's
Yeah.
all I got to say.
Say leave it
Orioles could
there.
go deep in the playoffs. If they get on a good roll and they got good starting pitching, they could win the World Series. And wouldn't that be cool to have the O's and the Ravens win in the same year? That'd
I'll
be
tell you
great for
something. I'll tell
Baltimore.
you, it really would be for you all in Baltimore, where that's my hometown, where I was visiting this past weekend. I'll tell you to know that the baseball Orioles won, excuse me. Ravens have signed Lamar Jackson. You've heard it here first at NRG. Mike has some predictions for this upcoming year. Looking forward to it, man. So this has been great. This has been great. I'll tell you something. It's always a pleasure being here with NRG and Mike Weiner, our special guest today, Rocky. Great things in store. One thing we learned from today's show is know your worth. Stand behind what it is that you believe in and continue to have a heart of service. We look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.